I bet you guys almost forgot about this shop and this car. I didn't. I know it seems like it when I have videos of a whole bunch of different cars and I never come back to this, that I've somehow forgotten about it or I'm not intending to finish it. That's just not true. It's definitely something I want out on the road yet this year. I am still waiting on engine harness, but engine harness is waiting on me. So my first order of business today is going to be doing some more measurements around the engine bay of the e10, the 1600, and ideally under the seat as well, since that's where the Megasquirt 3 and the Ford EDIS 4 module will reside. Again, the beautiful powder coat, EDIS coil tower, and this lovely area right here where our harness will be coming through. I actually have an update. This is gonna be kind of a sporadic all over the place video, but it's been a while since I've been here, so I'm sure that'll be okay. I have this. As you guys have probably known if you've been watching these videos. Oh, pardon me. I have been looking for a 1984 to 1985 BMW E30 coolant outlet flange. That is the intake manifold that I have on the 1600 right now. However, the one I have on the car right now is freshly powder coated and beautiful. And unfortunately, I need the E30 style flange for a couple of reasons. One, it fits with this manifold, which is obviously really important. And the other is it will fit the sensors I need to fit. I'm actually not going to use most of these. This one's a fan switch, gauge, computer. I'm going to be putting in a different computer switch for the Megasquirt. It's going to be a E36 OBD1 M50 center. I've got that here. This one will probably be gauge water temp. This signal might actually be compatible with the gauge I've got, but I'm going to swap to a VDO 1-pin sensor. They usually are straight out of the box compatible, even though this car is a 6-volt car originally. I think it'll still work. And then, of course, probably no electric fan. Relay up here anyway, needed. Maybe, but probably not. The Megasquirt can trigger electric fan relays on its own. But I feel a little silly having paid $100 for this intake manifold, throttle body, and all this other gubbins with the fuel rail on the forum a little while ago because I paid $120 for this entire running E30 engine. The guy wanted it gone. I was all too happy to pay that because BMW wants $137 for this piece of crap. And another thing I was noticing while I was down here, my 1600 has a canister style oil filter, which typically I prefer, but it's extremely hard to find oil filters for. And although I did find an oil filter for it, I think this is probably a better option. So I'm gonna swap this thing over with some new gaskets after I clean it up. I gotta get that ultrasonic parts tank working. What I'm gonna do probably is run one of those eBay sandwich plates. If you'll bear with me a moment. I actually totally have this sort of thing kicking around because I don't typically use it. But these things are pretty skookum. And what they do basically, it's got a filter, or sorry, a seal on the back, and you just bolt this thing up to your existing oil filter with one of the two included standard thread adapters. One's metric, one's SAE. Thread it onto there, thread your filter onto that, and over here, you've got an in and an out for an oil cooler, which is gonna be especially important when I eventually turbocharge this thing, which is gonna be probably a year or two down the road yet, but still cool. And then it also gives you 1/8 inch NPT if you wanna do oil temp and oil pressure. And again, that's probably not something I'm gonna be doing right off the hop, but it's cool to know that it's there. Especially for, you know, a forced induction application where you start to care about what's going on with your engine. I don't know, I'm pretty stoked. So that, I think it was a really good buy for 125 bucks. And then I've had this thing too. Last month I did that live stream of that Audi A4 Avant that was a coworker's car. Had a bad engine. So we replaced it. This is the old engine from that live stream, so it's just been sitting here. The only thing I did today was rip off the thermostat to get at the knock sensors because the new engine is throwing knock codes. So we need the sensors, we're good on this. Gonna pull them off and just give them back to them. Oh, and this super cool South Bend clutch that was on there. I'm giving that to one of the people that very kindly helped and offered their time on that swap. But I paid a little extra when I bought the donor engine because I didn't want to deal with having to swap the turbo over. And as it turns out, the oil was clean on this engine, so the turbo is actually okay. So you know what? I'm thinking I'm actually going to run a water-cooled Audi K03 on the 1600. If you think about it, it's a perfect application. This engine is a 1.8 liter, that's a 1.6. This thing made 180 to 220 horsepower or something, depending on the tune state. That car makes 100, so I figure if I throw some boost at it, you know, it's got a nice big outlet flange on the back, it's got water cooling, and I've already paid for it. That's the biggest thing. I know the flange is a little bit different shaped than the T4 I run on Brexit, but I don't know, I might do that still. It's a nice small turbo, so it should keep the lag low and the fun factor high. This is not a heavy car, so I think it's even gonna be a lot of fun with 100 horsepower or whatever the heck this thing makes on Megasquirt. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's gonna be a year or two down the road, like I said. I'd like to get it running and driving first. I'm not one of those people that just snowballs, snowballs, snowballs and never gets it done. I do eventually get it done. Oh, hi Mr. Wags. What a good car. But anyway, the E30 engine might give up some more parts. I don't really know. I know these are ideal parts donor engines or starting points for the actual Megasquirt process. So we'll see. I know it's got this kind of cool heater hard hose on the back, which is really appealing. I think that's actually gonna work really well. It's got the little tee-off too for the throttle body heater, which again, I probably won't run, but it's cool that it's there. It's got this bracket, which is a support brace for the intake manifold, which again, I won't run, but it's got a unique dipstick tube, which I definitely will run, even though I don't think it's compatible with the E30 pan, or sorry, the E10 pan. The pan on this engine is actually really similar to the E30 M3 oil pan because these blocks are essentially the same. I think even the oil filter stand is the same without the, what do you call it, the oil cooler fittings already on it. So there's a lot of similarities to the M10 and the S14, but again, 120 bucks, how could I say no? As far as I know, it's a perfectly good 2-liter M10 as well. So I'm excited. Audi garbage. It's gonna be pretty lit. But yeah, again, first time back in the shop for quite a while. Bought all new aluminum radiators since that new old stock brass one I bought when I started this project didn't fit at all. It's just a bunch to do. Yeah, measuring up for that wiring harness, throwing the wheels and tires back on it, getting my brake flare tools back into the engine bay to try to get the brake system intact since I twisted off. Ooh, sorry guys, there's a hard line down here. I twisted off and I tried to re-flare, but I didn't do a good enough job, so I'm gonna have to clip it and flare it again. I just don't have the best flaring tools. And I've got my little M10 joiners here, which I bought like 3 months ago, I feel like, for this project. Who knows? I'm gonna get going, see what all I can motivate myself to do today. I have requisitioned the entire night to work on this thing, so I'll probably get like 15 minutes of work done and just call it a day, but whatever. At least I'm here and you guys get to see the 2002 1600 E10, whatever we're calling it, you get to see the car again. And at least know that I haven't forgotten about it and I really do desperately want to get it done and on the road. So I've started measuring the distance between the ECU and that X20 connector that we're going to be running. And unfortunately, if I have the seat all the way back like this, and I have the Megasquirt closer to the passenger side and the EDIS closer to the driver's side, it doesn't quite fit. We're at 53 inches and our harness is 48 through the firewall into the engine bay. So that's gonna take a little bit of pondering. Yeah, I got the 3-spoke steering wheel on there. Pretty nifty. That's kind of a wrench in things I wasn't really expecting. I figured that 48-inch harness would be plenty. I'm pretty sure whoever makes the actual Megasquirt module sells a 70-something inch harness, but I think it's kind of pricey, so Man, more money. Might have to buy a new harness and just do it right. As much as that sucks. Ugh. So here is a Getrag 242, and here you can see the circlips that hold the slave cylinder, including the little rod that actually sits in the end of it to the transmission. I need these for my car. The 232 in my car does not currently have any of that stuff, so I'm gonna have to get my snap ring pliers and try to pull those off, and hopefully they come off all right, and hopefully I can even get this slave cylinder out without too much faff. I'll probably have to pull this line out here. I don't think that will clear if it's still in place, but it's just good to have spares. I actually bought this whole transmission just for that one little part, which is kind of dumb, but again, it is what it is. Well, I've got the M10 on a stand. 2002 still hasn't done much other than measuring the disappointing EC location. But I've got the AMB 1.8T back on the stand here. Upside down, I just want to see how clogged that oil pickup tube is. I'm actually hoping that it's fairly clogged, because if it is, that means this engine's actually, wow, sorry for the videography. That means this engine's actually okay to resell, which would be good, I suppose. A little unfortunate that we had to change it out, but still probably better to do so. You never really know what could have happened running with low oil pressure for some time. So I'm gonna whip off a whole bunch of kind of cool dual fasteners. They're 10 mil on the outside and 5 mil Allen on the inside, and then a couple of 16s on the back. Partially clogged, I would say. Holy crap, what is that? That looks like it's that upper intermediate guide. Wow, that's icky. No wonder this thing had reduced oil pressure. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So when I replaced it, I fired it up, and it actually sounded kind of okay, and that was packed minimally, but I'm guessing all that first stuff I picked off was, wow, that was probably getting sucked up too. Woo, this poor engine. Actually looks pretty decent in here otherwise. Oh, wow, that thing needs a new pickup tube. Or at least that needs to be blasted out quite thoroughly. I can't really see the bores from here because of that windage tray, unfortunately. Wow, these have oil squirters. Very cool. Maybe not all Audi stuff is junk. I know 1.8Ts are actually pretty solid, so. Okay, now I want to flip it right side up and check under the valve cover to see how screwed that tensioner is. I'm just gonna dump all this junk out and throw a couple of bolts back in just to keep it more or less sealed, but wow. There's our culprit. That thing is eaten clean through. Wow. Camshafts look a-okay though. I think this engine dodged a bullet. It's a new tensioner, a new cam position sensor, so that plug is not healthy. This thing is solid. Wow. Well, improper diagnostic at a shop, but at least coworker's got a new engine, so groovy. I'm probably just gonna shove this thing off to the side and call it a day. I got a car show tomorrow down at the Motorplex, so thanks as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys on the flippity floppity.